Hello and welcome to Pushing Back, Ukraine Daily Brief. As the war enters its 1072nd day, these are the main developments from the past 24 hours. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russia has lost approximately 835,940 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war. The number includes 1,270 casualties over the past day. According to the released Ukrainian figures, Russia lost 4 tanks, 17 armored combat vehicles, 17 artillery systems, 54 drones, 85 vehicles, and 4 pieces of special equipment. In the last 24 hours, the Russians launched 125 combat clashes and carried out 44 airstrikes, including 88 guided bombs on the territory of Ukraine. They also used 1,007 kamikaze drones and carried out around 4,600 attacks on the positions of Ukrainian troops and settlements using various types of weapons. In its latest intelligence update, the Institute for the Study of War, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that Western military assistance remains vital to Ukraine's ability to maintain its defense against Russian aggression. Putin's long-standing theory of victory relies on the assumption that the West will abandon Ukraine, and only unwavering Western support and consistent deliveries of Western military assistance to Kiev can force Putin to abandon his theory and accept the need to offer the concessions necessary for any resolution to the conflict acceptable to the US, Europe, and Ukraine. Putin indicated that he will not view any peace agreement with Ukraine as binding by claiming that the Ukrainian government is either unwilling or unable to rescind the 2022 Ukrainian presidential decree banning negotiations with Putin. Putin's statements rejecting the legitimacy of the Ukrainian government and of a possible future peace agreement set conditions for Russia to justify violating any future agreements with Ukraine. Putin continues efforts to coerce US President Donald Trump into bilateral negotiations that exclude Ukraine, impose his desired negotiations framework on Trump, and compel Trump to inadvertently endorse ongoing Russian information operations about the illegitimacy of the current Ukrainian government. Ukrainian forces conducted a drone strike at the Russian oil refinery in Kstovo, Nizhny Novgorod Oblast, and reportedly hit a Russian arsenal in Tver Oblast on the night of January 28 to 29. The Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed in a post on January 29 that Lieutenant General Alexander Sanchik is the commander of the Russian southern grouping of forces. Ukrainian forces recently advanced in Kursk Oblast and near Toretsk, and Russian forces recently advanced near Lyman, Chasiv Yar, Toretsk, Pokrovsk, Kurakov, Velika Novosilka, Robotny, and in the Dnipro direction. Volunteer recruitment rates in Moscow have dropped sharply, as Russian citizens grow increasingly unwilling to serve in Ukraine. In President Zelensky's nightly address, he spoke about 3 key areas. Firstly, frontline successes and military strategy. Ukraine's armed forces continue to make gains on the battlefield, with the 225th Separate Assault Battalion and the 82nd Separate Air Assault Brigade receiving praise for their effective operations. Special operations forces have also been instrumental in targeting Russian troops and equipment. Intelligence discussions focused on proactive strategies for future military objectives. Secondly, Russian attack on Sumy and global response. Rescue efforts are ongoing in Sumy following a devastating Russian drone strike that killed 9 people and injured 13, including a child. President Zelensky condemned Russia's continued attacks on civilians and called for sustained international pressure to hold Moscow accountable and force an end to the war. Lastly, diplomatic engagements for unity and stability. President Zelensky held talks with Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda to reinforce European unity and cooperation against Russian aggression. In discussions with Lebanon's president, the focus was on food security and the broader need for global stability, as Ukraine continues efforts to support nations in need. Thanks for following today's updates. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We'll return tomorrow with the latest news on the ongoing conflict.